Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Dude Soup. Before we jump right in, I just want to take less than a minute to remind everyone watching how important it is to vote. There's a major election happening in the United States, at least in November. So please vote. I'm just gonna ask you to vote. This isn't a right that we're only allowed to exercise once every few years. Elections at the local and state level happen all the time. And this entire process is something so incredibly important for you to be a part of. That means if you're an older viewer or if you're a younger viewer or anywhere in between, it really doesn't matter. Your voice should be heard. And I get it. It can feel like your voice might be insignificant. But I just want to tell you that it is not. Your vote is your voice, and it deserves to be heard. So if you're registered to vote, vote. I'm just asking you to do that. Just please vote. If you're not registered to vote, I'm asking you to get registered and then vote. And if you don't know how to get registered, go to gamers.vote, and it is a website which will give you all the information you need on how to get registered in your area and vote in your elections, local, federal, everywhere in between. And that's it. That's all. It's just asking you. I ain't got no promo code for voting, unfortunately. But yeah, I just want you to be a part of the process because I think it's very, very important. And yeah, that's all I'm asking you to do. Now, without further ado, let's get into the show. So I feel like I've already taken up enough of your time, and I don't want to waste it with an intro when there's so many games that we're going to be discussing today. Hold on. This is an intro. Just Nick, cut this off and just roll the intro, because there we go. Yeah. Am I high? I don't know.
It's been a week. It's been a weekend. That's cool.
Yeah, it's been a week, but I wasn't even here last week.
That's what happens. You get rusty.
I was sick last week, and I wasn't even here. But I am hosting this week, and I'm happy to be here. Happy to be back. I am joined by two of my favorite guests, Adam Kovic and John Smith.
Oh, happy to be here.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, well, thank you for joining me. I also want to thank our RT First members who might be watching or chatting with us in chat. By the way, you don't need to be an RT First member to chat and chat. All you got to do is make an account, and then you can say anything nice you want to say to John Smith. He'll probably read it. He'll probably see it.
Mm-hmm.
But we want to thank you guys for supporting the stream, watching the stream, everyone watching on RTTV. I said we get right into it, and I just want to get right into it. Today, we're going to be talking about Gamescom. Gamescom just wrapped up, and it feels like if you're in the industry, you really understand how kind of important it is. It's probably the biggest event. Everyone talks about E3 and all those other things, but I feel like Gamescom is the biggest event.
Yeah,
Germany.
by size, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. It's in Germany.
Yes. But all of Europe goes there, basically.
Yeah. That's the beauty of the American thing is America will have an event like E3 and they'll be like, well, that's it. It's the biggest of the year. That's when all the games come out. And it's like, well, there's this little place called Germany. And it's kind of more in the center of the world than you could possibly imagine. And everyone across Europe and Asia come to share their games and show things off. And it's a huge event. It's a massive event. I've had the privilege of going one time, sitting in the EA lounge using their Wi-Fi and editing videos on a laptop.
True story.
But it's a true story. But yeah, so I just wanted to, were you guys following Gamescom? Were you watching? I kind of watched the Jeff Keighley presentations and stuff like that, but I was just curious, were you guys following Gamescom?
I was not. I did watch many of the trailers in a YouTube playlist. How long was the event? Tell me about it. Hey, for someone, pretend I've never heard of Gamescom. What the heck is it?
All right. I mean, it's a multi-day event. What's like a week? It's a week-long event in Cologne, Germany, in the biggest convention hall you've ever seen in your life. Probably not this year so much. But
the biggest internet forum you've ever seen.
Yeah. It did seem, though, that this year was one of the years where they really upped their ability to do kind of like an internet, like a global presentation, like some of these other shows feel like. But I mean, it's the same as all those other conventions. Developers come with new things for games that we already have heard about, or they announce new games. We got a couple new game announcements.
Sometimes if they didn't make it for like E3, sometimes they'll come out, they'll be like, we'll get it at Gamescom, don't worry. Because then that's like, or maybe they didn't, they didn't have room for them. And so sometimes you get some scraps, some really tasty scraps. But Gamescom, I feel like every year has been getting better and bigger. So this obviously was a big gut punch, but this one felt lighter than typical ones for some reason. I couldn't put a finger on it, but definitely, less ravey for sure. I like the rave atmosphere, the European dance club vibe. That was sadly gone in the form of all the trailers. Jeff Keighley just brings the room down. I'm gonna say it.
What?
I'm sorry.
I disagree.
I don't know. I think
he's a consummate professional. It's the opposite of what we're doing, where we're just like shooting the shit and talking or whatever. Like he's like, I have a purpose and I got to be out of here by 5.
The weirdest stuff I've ever seen has been at Gamescom, where there are just kids. These kids drink it. They got a drinker. They got Heineken in one hand, and then the dude is on stage yelling about the DPI of a mouse, and they're losing their minds. And then the DJ goes like, "You got it," and then he hits play on the keyboard, and the whole place explodes. And they're just throwing motherboards out at people, and like that was to promote PUBG or something. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah,
it's amazing. I miss those days.
Yeah, the gamer rave. I remember there was a convenience store where our hotel was to where the convention center was. There's a convenience store that where you could buy rum and cokes in a can.
Yeah.
And then you just pick one up and then you head to work.
What's the drinking age there? Like 9 years old?
12.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
You can also drink outside. They don't really care. So we would go to the bodega, as they called it. Or no, they called it something. I forget.
Anyone called it that?
That's New York, Adam.
No, I said, come on, guys, let's go to the bodega. And then they looked at me strangely.
That doesn't even make sense.
And I'm not even sure if you're allowed to drink outside. I just saw everyone else doing it. So we were just like, cool. You're just outside of a club with a rum and coke pre-mixed.
Well, that's how you know if you're allowed to do something or not. If other people are doing it, just go ahead.
Yeah, what do you, no one's gonna stop you. The thing is, they don't need police there to enforce any of that stuff. All the roads are cobblestone. So if you get too drunk, gravity does all the law enforcement. Do you remember there was a bridge that we would have to walk over, and every single time we walked over, you could see down into this small little street, and every single time I would go, hey, look, it's Diagon Alley. We probably crossed the bridge probably like 25 times, and every single time back and forth I would say, hey, it's Diagon Alley.
Yeah. And we thought it was funny every time.
Even before I was, an on-camera funny guy, I was an annoying funny guy.
No, but that's the rule of comedy. Like the first 3 times it's not funny, but then on the 5th one it's really annoying. And then the 6th time you get a chuckle because now it's just nostalgic.
Yeah, but 20 times over the bridge, back and forth, that's 2 times per bridge. That's 40 times. So I don't know what the rule of comedy says for that, but either way, I'm proud. I have no regrets.
I remember because we had a meeting shortly after that, and they're like, "What about this James Williams guy? Should we hire him?" I thought of Diagon Alley, and I chuckled. Yep, that's a yes. Let's keep him. I think his edits are utter garbage, but man, he makes those Diagon Alley jokes.
He made us laugh and then get angry and then laugh again. So games. Did you guys see anything that really stood out to you? Everyone was really excited going into it. It's wild to think that Fall Guys Season 2 was like the headliner of the opening night of Gamescom 2020, and all the marketing people that had to wrap their heads around that in the last 3 weeks. But
I loved that you could tell that trailer was really thrown together last minute because the VO is the lead designer on it, but he's using his gamer headset microphone. So it's all this flashy imagery, and then it's like, And next on the It's We Got Medieval Times.
I don't know. Are they like? I don't even know if they're like that big of a team though. That may have been how they just did it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, I mean, also they just found out they were a success 48 hours ago.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, the check just cleared, and he's like gonna move out of his studio apartment.
this seems to be the threshold with video games, right? It's like either you come out, you're never to be heard of again, or you're the biggest game in the world. Either you're your Fortnite or your Fall Guys season 2. It's just I don't know. It seems to be these overnight successes. It's so extreme now. It's you're the biggest thing in the world, or you're nothing. I'm glad in a world like this, Apex Legends still has found an audience, and COD Warzone, like there's enough battle royales for everyone. But then I guess Fall Guys scratches that itch, right?
Yeah.
But John, you're saying you'll never play by yourself again.
I played it like 2 or 3 times by myself and was like, I'm good. But it is really fun to play with other people. But yeah, alone, you're like, who am I going to cheer for? Myself?
Yeah. I still think they need to integrate a Jackbox room code thing. If they did that, I mean, I guess it only really serves to benefit large streamers or whatever. But if you did like a room code thing where people could join your room code, and then
that has to be something they're working on. Because I mean, like you said, they just found their success when the game launched. But I'm sure seeing how many people are streaming it and how much fun people are having streaming it, they're going to prioritize streamers being able to play with their fans, whether it's custom servers or something like that. Because I mean, that was something that happened with PUBG, like very quickly after PUBG blew up. They made the effort to introduce custom servers so that people could do that. I'm guessing / hoping that will be the case, because that could be pretty
Explain
fun.
something to me, John, because I'm an old man and streaming is still relatively alien to me. When someone gets stream sniped, that is them watching a big streamer and then queuing up in the hopes that they get into the same server, because you can't. Is there? What are they using, like a VPN to be in their area or something like that? Like, how can you get in? How can you guarantee you get into someone's game who you're watching stream?
Well,
how do you do that?
It's battle royales where it's like 60 to 100 people each. Your odds are much better. And I'm guessing that there's maybe like, if it's a big streamer, there's maybe at least like 100 people trying to do it. I don't know the science behind it because I don't do it.
Yeah, you do.
Adam, you accusing me?
Sniper.
You Shroud Stalker. That's a name, right?
Yeah.
I stream snipe and I help. No, but I did see who's it? It was Forzen, who's like one of the original Twitch streamers. His community is known for always trolling him. Like, you watch a video of him playing PUBG and he'll land somewhere, and then in the sky, 40 people are raining down, all like blasting techno music over their like VoIP microphones.
What a nightmare.
But in Fall Guys, he was running around and there were like 6 people chasing him, just trying to grab him and hold him the whole time. Must be very frustrating.
I was gonna say, sometimes he's like, I did just want to play games today.
And there's just a bunch of people just pushing you and poking you and going, do something. It's me. Well, we did Among Us. We did that stream, and like I know Alana was trying to do she's like, okay, here's the code, use it real quick. Except when you stream it, it just shows the code for everybody. And so people would join and they would just stand there in the corner and they're like, I don't want to upset you, but it's like, oh no, we need you to participate if you're going to be in here. No, thank you. I just want to hang out. And it's like, no.
Just here to observe. But no, I don't think you understand. Roles are assigned in this game, and if you're not completing your task, then it ruins the game. I don't want to cause a problem.
Bless their hearts. It's just funny because we do GTA with fans, and like those are people who are on our friends list who have a hard time getting in a game with us. And like there seemed to be some sort of
GTA
art.
though.
That's true.
GTA.
Yeah.
I think we have a hard time getting into GTA with each other when we're on a private server and we've all coordinated our times to know when we have to get into a game together. So
yeah, it's it's anyone's guess. The magic keeping that engine running.
Well, in terms of what they actually revealed, it was medieval times. I think kind of like what John was saying. They were like, "What, season 2? We just released it," And but it looks like they had a couple maps that they were working on, and it's medieval themed. So they're gonna have some medieval themed costumes, and one map where you have to push a block, which I think is gonna be madness.
Ugh.
You have to teamwork, push a block, and then jump up. Like no one's gonna.
Yeah.
I'm
happy for them though.
Yeah. If you want to hear my picks or things that I'm excited for from Gamescom,
I do. I do want
3 games for you.
Okay.
1, Teardown. Which, here's the thing, I'm in all of the like indie game dev subreddits. So all of these smaller games, I've sometimes, not all of them, but a lot of them I've seen, like the prototypes and stuff being put, like GIFs of them just being posted. One of those games is Teardown, which it's like voxel environments where you basically have a prep period where you can like blow up walls and lay down planks of wood and stuff to pretty much create a path for you to then turn off alarms in the shortest amount of time and then get away. Like the idea is that you're preparing for the perfect heist or whatever.
Right.
But it's super cool in how interactive everything is. It seems like a game kind of based around systems, like a systemic
I think because you had told us about this. This isn't like new to Gamescom. You've been.
Yeah, I think I posted the trailer for it in the office Slack like a year ago.
I feel like I should mention Blast Core is a Nintendo 64 game that did this pretty much exactly.
Oh, really?
There's a nuke gets away, and the person forgot to put on the parking brake, and so now there's a nuke driving in a straight line, and so you have to create a pathway of safety so that way the nuke doesn't crash into anything and blow up everyone.
Dude, I used to see this game in Blockbuster every week, and I said, no thank you.
Well, we should do a Blast Core gameplay.
Yeah, we should.
I was always really excited for it, and then when I finally got it, I was like, wait a minute, there's a timer. Like, there's a constant timer ticking down. All I want to do is play as the robot and fly around and smash stuff. But
that is one of the worst, or not one of the worst, but one of my least favorite mechanics in a game is when there's a countdown timer constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Dead, what is it? Left 4 Dead. No, not Left 4 Dead. Dead
Outer
Alive.
Wilds did that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's the zombie game where you build weapons and it's super goofy?
The Capcom game.
Fortnite.
Basically.
That game with the timer counting down from when the military is going to show up or whatever. And even when I was when I was younger, I wasn't even able to play Majora's Mask because no one told me that you could reset it. But like I was like, I only have 3 days to do this, and I got to day 3 and I hadn't done anything. And I was like, it's too much stress, and I turned it off.
Yeah. I know Majora's Mask is loved.
Yeah.
But the first time I got through a dungeon and wasn't able to beat the boss in time before the countdown ended, that's when I stopped. I said, I'm done.
Oh man, you missed that.
You say that, but I also gained back a lot of time because I said, why would you make me play something if I don't get to keep my progress?
Time is infinite in the world of Majora's Mask.
That being said, several years later, I did play Dead Rising. Also got frustrated. The very first time I was like, nope, and didn't get back to the bathroom, and then you ran out of time. I was like, nope. And then Dead Rising 2, they fixed it. Whatever testing they did, they were like, there's a timer, but you got plenty of time to do all the things you need to. So like it made sense. It was more rhythmic where you would they knew exactly how long it took to accomplish a specific goal. Also, you could play with people. You could play with friends.
You could co-op it, yeah. Oh, well, then
you'd be escorting someone out of a doorway, and you'd walk into because it was in a giant mall or whatever, and then you'd come out, and then your friend would drive by on a monster truck and just plow down all the zombies.
There's the issue where you only had one save slot, right? That was part of it. I remember that just being so frustrating, and then I guess they fixed it in the we should play the second one again at some point. Actually,
is there anywhere that we can play it?
Steam, I think it's on PC.
Really?
The second one's on Steam?
I think so. I've started it.
I got my 360.
Yeah. Well, 360 co-op was always a gamble too, because like I remember trying to play Saints Row, was it 2 on doing co-op, but I had bought a used copy from a Blockbuster as it was going out of business, and it was so scratched up that like whatever was happening on my friend's Xbox was not happening on mine, and we were on just 2 different parts of the map. And then when he found me, I was just floating because it couldn't load cars for him, but it was the problem was on my end. I don't know. Anyway, thank God for PCs. If it still works. If not, then to fuck everything.
I loaded up Blast Corps' Blast Corps Corpse.
Blast Core.
Oh, Blast Core. Gameplay footage, and there's just a giant silver robot doing somersaults through buildings. So this looks great.
He's got one giant arm, right? And he smashes it. Speedruns, Blast Core speedruns are the best thing in the world, because for you would have played that level and you sweat pouring down. You know that Jordan Peele gif that goes around with him sweating? That's you playing Blast Core almost desperately, and there's one tiny little block that you forgot to get away right at the last minute, and the whole thing blows up, and then you watch a speedrunner do it, and he'll have finished the level before the truck even started moving.
That's an antiquated thing though. That's just like a leftover from back when when we were kids. We didn't realize video games were only 45 minutes long. It was just that they were they designed them in such a way that you'd have to just play over and over. And so then now all of a sudden they have an ability to save and like, oh, we can add more content. But game developers were still like, no, timer, 45 minutes. You could only they're like the guys who made GoldenEye, Rare. I remember when they made the first person shooter, like, well, the way you play is you stop, you hold a trigger, and then you aim, and that's how you play. But then like Time Splitters came out, and like, yes, we know we have 2 analog sticks, but you must still stop and aim. And it's like Halo comes out, and they go, and they're like, oh shit, that's how you make a first person shooter on a console.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What is it? There's that. It was like a review of Alien 3 or something. It was a.
The movie or the game?
No, it was a first-person shooter, but the controls it was the first time that the standardized first-person shooter controls work now, where the left stick is your horizontal movement and the right stick is your kind of camera angles. But the review was like, it was scathing, saying, the control scheme is terrible. This makes no sense at all. Yeah.
I played Turok, which Turok's control scheme was the left analog stick moved your eyes and the right C buttons moved your pathing, right? Mm-hmm. So for all intents and purposes, it was the same. So you would strafe left and right and then move forward and backward. And then so when I played GoldenEye, I had to switch to Solitaire, which was that control scheme. But then that made, when it finally switched to like dual analog sticks, I was like, yeah, well, of course, finally, and now I can have that. Except they swapped it, so now I had to look with my other finger or whatever. But like, it always seemed so logical at the time, and I would play against other people in GoldenEye, and like you would just strafe into a room and like shoot a person here, shoot a person there, and shoot a person there, and you'd see on theirs they'd walk into the room and then they'd freeze, and then they'd pull out their gun and like. And then they'd shoot at you. Like, that's how, because they're holding a trigger and moving a cursor around.
I used to play with this kid from my church who owned GoldenEye and was a terrible fucking asshole. Because we'd play together and he would pick Odd Job, of course, and then he would be like, let's play Proximity Mines. And then what he'd do is he knew where all the spawns were. So once he killed you, he'd just run back and forth, throwing proximity mines where you were about to spawn. So I'd just keep spawning and then blowing up. And I'm like, dude, please, let's do something else. He's like, no, let's keep doing this. This is fun.
Yeah.
And then you go home and he's like,
right out of it.
Yeah. There's always that one kid on the street. And then they're like, why doesn't he have friends? I don't get it. I don't understand. No, go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say, like, the kid who, quote unquote, taught me how to play Magic the Gathering on the bus by just beating my ass at Magic the Gathering.
Well, there's that one, and there's the rich kid on my street. It's funny because I just referenced him. I was watching a Dreamcast video we just played, and I'm remembering this kid and why I didn't like him. he invited me over one time. He's like, hey, you want to come over and play Half-Life? I was like, oh, cool. I've heard about this game. And what he meant was, do you want to come over and watch me install some software so I can play Half-Life online for an hour? And after that, we didn't hang out much.
That's a beautiful story, Adam. And we're going to talk about more than 2 Gamescom games as soon as we get back. First, we're going to hear a word from one of our sponsors. This episode of Dude Soup is brought to you by Honey. We all shop online, and if you don't, I mean, I guess that is possible, but I don't know how you manage it. And we all know that feeling of having a bunch of stuff in your cart, and then you're about to check out, and you see that little block that says apply promo code here, and you're thinking there has to be a promo code out there, but you don't know where to look to find one that actually works. Well, that's what Honey is here to do for you. Honey is the free browser extension that scours the internet for promo codes and applies the best one it finds to your cart. Honey supports over 30,000 stores online that range from tech sites to gaming products, food delivery, fashion brands, basically everything under the sun. So just so you understand how it works, it's kind of like I described. Imagine you're at one of your favorite sites. You throw some stuff in your cart. You're excited to check out. In my case, I tend to buy fun gifts for my friends and for my family. And so let's imagine in this scenario that I have a pair of pants for my father and a funny book for my mom. I got it in the cart and I'm thinking, well, I love my parents, but I'm not gonna, do I have to spend full price on it? I don't know if I do. Honey, when you check out, a button drops down and all you have to do is click apply coupons. Honey will do all the scouring the internet for you. They will find the best coupon for you for that site and apply it to your cart instantly. You can save $15. You can save 20%. Honestly, it's kind of a surprise how much you can save every single time you use it. That's one of the fun things about using it. Some of the other fun things about using it is that it's completely free. Honey has found its over 17 million members, over $2 billion in savings. So if you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out on free savings. It's literally free. I've said free several times. It's in the script, but I'm also emphasizing it to you. It installs in a few seconds, and by getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid and supporting this podcast. So get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/dude. That's joinhoney.com/DUDE. All right, Adam, you were saying about your neighbor who bullied you?
The game, I didn't know. This is a weird thing. His nose was always bleeding. His nickname ended up becoming
all right, that's enough.
Nose.
All right, so Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
Picked it all the time.
Did you guys watch that gameplay? We were kind of talking about it beforehand and just going, God, it's so pretty.
I
did not.
Compare it to the movie Robots, starring Ewan McGregor.
I do that too.
Robin Williams. And you can go, okay, here's a world that's fantastical 3D CGI. Mm-hmm. And then here's Ratchet and Clank, and one of these looks like complete ass now. But it's like we're at that point now where video games look better than the CGI movies that came out. Obviously it's not fair because it came out 10, 15 years ago or whatever. Yeah. But it's amazing that games are looking as good as Ratchet and Clank.
So what you're saying is we should finally get the Robots game we were destined to have back then, not the one that we were given. There was for sure. Yeah. But it doesn't now is when we could have a game that looks as good as the movie and may also be just as funny.
Oh, God.
Do you think Mel Brooks will come out of quarantine so that way he can re-record new lines of VO for his character in the Robots film?
I read his autobiography and he said that's what he was waiting for. So, yes.
Great, cool.
The perfect Robots game already came out. It's called Robots and it's on Game Boy Advance. What? I mean, it's from the movie. It's on Game Boy Advance. We don't need 3D. Okay. We have Game Boy Advance.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. Well, anyway, so Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I like this because we're at this phase where we're going through there's new consoles coming down the line, and like we're on the verge of new technology that allows us to play bigger, cooler, more graphical games, and everyone always thinks graphics when you think of more power. And I would say to a pretty heavy degree, Sony really leans into that with the PlayStation platform. They really lean into, look how photorealistic we can make this. We can make it so immersive and stuff using the graphical fidelity of the game. But I'm glad that this seems to be like their AAA push. Like Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, it's such a stylistic game. I would much rather look at Super Mario Odyssey than I would look at like Uncharted 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like they're going to age better too. And so I am always interested to see, we've went so off the path where it's like, we have the power to make someone look like someone. We could put Norman Reedus in a game. We could do it. And people will point and they'll say, that's Norman Reedus. But I hope that we're kind of coming down on the other end where we realize that maybe that's not as important as what we can do with cool characters and like colorful worlds and like the technology to make what is the equivalent of Super Mario 64 the most immersive, fun, exciting gaming experience possible.
Yeah.
Well,
which I guess is harder to do, right? To make a compelling, beautiful cartoon of something that is fake.
You just put boobs on it.
Okay.
Yeah. Come on, Adam. One thing I'm noticing, because I'm watching the trailer, I'm having the trailer play silently right now. I'm still listening to you guys. But even though it is this very stylized, you know, not realistic visuals, there is a lot of stuff going on graphics-wise still. Like, there are a lot of reflections in everything that seems like it would be very hard to do on the current gen platforms, and just in terms of just the number of elements on screen at a time with the fidelity of the models and everything is like, this definitely is a next gen game, even though it's not the hyper realistic style. Like, they're really, I think they're really using it to its maximum potential. At least it seems like.
Yeah. I mean, there's also the whole gameplay mechanic of being able to dimensionally rift. Like, there's like dimensional that you can leap through, and I guess the whole game kind of feels like that one level from
Titanfall 2.
Titanfall 2, where like it feels like the whole game has kind of integrated that, which is also, I mean, not even just from a technological standpoint, but from a game design standpoint, like quite a challenge.
Yeah, because you're running two levels on top of each other and having to switch between them at the same time. Which, I mean, that's sort of the hope, right? Is that perhaps we have peaked with graphics. I think like maybe we're good. We're good where we're at. I think now it's what can you do with the art and what can you do with gameplay. Like, because you see something like The Order 1886 or whatever, you go, oh my God, what a great looking game. That's not a game, that's a movie. Okay, got it. Like you like, can you make a fun game that looks that good? And I think we're hopefully at that point. I know it's expensive and it takes a lot of time and a lot of talented people do it, but like hopefully with technology we have now peaked at that point where we can just make everything look beautiful as humanly possible.
The other thing, like you guys are saying, that we've peaked with gameplay, and what other things can we explore? Something that was at the Baldur's Gate 3 gameplay, like presentation that the creator did. He talked about how, I think maybe it was just on Stadia, that the processing power in the background that was running all of the systems and like AI and everything were so intense that only playing on Stadia would you get the real experience. But that really is the thing. I feel like I've talked about it before, but the leap from Xbox 360 to Xbox One, there was the Shadow of Mordor game with the Nemesis system, which they basically they released the game on the 360, but it was a neutered version because even though it wasn't anything graphical, it was this whole like system that made all these decisions and changed the game on all these kind of low level back end ways that just wasn't possible on an older machine. So that I think that will be really interesting to see, where we go with stuff like that. Like, they could make, there's this indie game I play called Rain World. I haven't beaten it, but what I love about it is that it was made by an artist and a musician or something. Like, it's two guys that neither of them knew how to program. And and one of them just learned how to do it to make this game. And so it's kind of like GoldenEye, because GoldenEye, what did they say? Like 8 of the 11 developers had never made a game before. Rain World, basically what they did was they made all these creatures and they programmed them to have their own wants and needs. And so what they ended up with is the whole world. There is, it's a functioning and flowing ecosystem that it can exist even without you. And so you're just moving through it, and there's creatures that are hunting each other and gathering food and all these different things that has nothing to do with you. And because it's a very small, like 2D, very small game, they're able to do that without a lot of processing power. But it would be interesting to see, games like, The Sims or like Assassin's Creed
Majora's
or just any
Mask.
game that has, any game that has, maybe like a city or something. How far can they go with the NPCs living their lives? Like Skyrim, whatever the next Elder Scrolls game is, the depth that they could actually give their NPCs could be much greater. In terms of their living cycles and everything.
That's my theory that's all of what social media is doing, where everyone's so worried about like, oh, they're stealing my DNA and they're gonna clone it. Like, you're not that interesting, don't worry. And like, oh, my Kinect is spying on me. Like, no, this is all just research. And eventually someone's gonna go, we have all this data. We could just we can have an algorithm program NPCs, and then you just have really mundane NPCs, but that's what makes it interesting. I could see that happening at some point in the future. I mean, we're talking 10, 20 years away, maybe, but
yeah. I just finished listening to a book called The Overstory, and the general thrust of it is about trees and how trees are this organism that we don't even truly understand, and how it influences the lives of these 9 characters.
Sounds cool.
But one of the character is this. Well, he starts as a kid, but Mile, he becomes a game designer, and he basically creates like what you're describing is this like perpetual world. Like, it starts out as basically a text adventure, but then each iteration they add graphics, and then it becomes like a World of Warcraft and so on and so forth. But then by the end of it, he's like, well, what we really need is just create something that like is so complex that it becomes mundane. Like everything, like it shouldn't be as exciting. Like, it should be pretty boring, and you could lose everything. And like, and then the blowback he gets is like, well, why would anyone want to play that? But it's like, it's more of like, he understands the complexity. He's more interested in how complex and how far can we push things. So just so you know, John, you are correct if this book was true. But yeah, so I'm very interested to see, and I can't wait to ultimately find out how speedrunners handle these types of games, because I know how much they hate RNG.
Like Shenmue.
Yeah. Once we get AI constant games, they're gonna like, sorry, I can only do the speed run if I start at midnight, because I know then that's when the alligators wake up.
Similar when you're talking about Fall Guys and how you're worried that game developers will like start tailoring things to streamers or whatever. That's like the esports sort of community of like, you have games like Overwatch are like, you're ruining it. And then you have regular Joes like James and I were like, I didn't notice you changed anything. But it's like,
speaking of which, Overwatch, I was playing with Joel the other day, and this is mostly a story for Adam, but John, you can listen.
Yes.
And I was playing as Ana, and I went on fire. I was on fire as Ana, and I had gold eliminations, gold hero damage, and gold healing.
That's not
we
good.
lost. We lost.
That when you said that, I already knew the answer.
I was just blown away, because I was just staring at it. I was like, Joel, you don't understand. I have gold damage right now. I have gold damage. Anyway, I'm still pretty mediocre at that game, but I enjoy it. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying you're the you're the king of the trash people.
I'm the king of the trash people.
Yeah.
I'm not good enough to make a bad team good, but
no one is. No, there's no
I feel like
one
there must be
person.
some people. You always see that
Maybe.
story of someone who's like, I don't know, I placed in bronze and now I'm in diamond. I worked my way up. I'm like, I don't understand how that happens because I can play to the utter best of my ability, and Overwatch can set my character icon on fire and tell me that I'm just doing an incredible job, and then we lose really hard.
I think you make friends with some Overwatch League dudes who are fans of yours, and they could be the worst team in the league, and they would carry you to. I remember when we had those guys, and when they were Cloud9, Kai, I think was his name. He was the guy who came in, and he was like their coach at the time. And he just got on my account, which I was like, I worked pretty hard to get to diamond, and he went in as like soldier and was just wrecking people. Yeah. And he was like, this is fun how terrible everybody is. And it's like, oh, cool. Good to, but it's just a different level. I don't know. So yes,
I
go to Korea.
I want to mention one game real quick before we go to another ad read. The Walking Dead Bridge Constructor. There, I've mentioned it.
What?
And now let's go to that ad read. This episode of Dude Soup is brought to you by Stitch Fix. I want you to close your eyes for just a second, and I want you to imagine a clothing store where you walk in and everything you pull off the rack fits you perfectly. All right, open your eyes. The store actually does exist, okay? And it includes everything from shoes, socks, pants, shirts, everything that makes up your style. And that store is Stitch Fix. Stitch Fix is a personal styling company that makes getting the clothes you love effortless. It's a completely different way to shop that's all about you. Every single time. If you want to get started, just go to stitchfix.com/dudesoup, set up your profile, and they'll deliver great looks personalized just for you. That's the coolest thing about Stitch Fix, is that you will have a personal stylist who, based off your interests and the things you like, will find the clothes that fit you and that match your style. You pay a $20 styling fee for each fix, but that fee is credited towards anything you keep. That means if you buy something from your fix that's $21, you're not going to pay for the styling fee. It's included. Schedule at any time. There's no subscription required. Plus, shipping, returns, and exchanges are easy and free. Stitch Fix does all the hard work for you, making great style effortless for everybody, including men, women, and kids, and you know how much I hate to be outdressed by children. If you hate to be outdressed by children, get started today at stitchfix.com/dudesoup, and you'll get 25% off when you keep everything in your fix. That's stitchfix.com/dudesoup for 25% off when you keep everything in your fix. stitchfix.com/dudesoup. And we're back. Any other, there's so many games. Star Wars Squadron, Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga.
Well, I have this playlist. There's 101 trailers in the playlist.
Yeah, COD, so. Black Ops Cold War. Are we excited to play as Ronald Reagan finally in a good year?
Ghostrunner is the one I think I'm still looking forward to the most. It's funny, I was out camping this weekend, so I missed a lot of this stuff. So anytime I had an internet connection, I was just sort of like catching up on the day or anything like that, just to be up on it. And just reading the comments, and it's like some of the games like Ghostrunner, I'm like, I'm so into this. This is a perfect game. I love the demo. I want more of this. And just seeing people like, this video bored me. Not for me. And I'm just like, whatever, dude. This is so up
What's
my
wrong
alley.
with you?
I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe I had some perspective where I'm like, I'm in the woods. If I run out of water, I might die. This game looks amazing. But
I know, I couldn't imagine anyone seeing that and going, it looks okay.
It's not for everyone. I
could theoretically see people being like, it looks like it's for too serious a gamer. I could see that. But to me, that's not a negative attribute. That just means that it's not something for you. I would never be like, time to leave a negative comment. This looks bad.
The complaint I saw was like, the gameplay loop looks boring, or like, it looks too repetitive. Like, I mean, really, all games have that problem. It's just how good are they at hiding it. And from my guess from Ghostrunner is you unlock those powers as you move on. Because like in the demo we played, there was no block ability, right? And that seems to be something that you get later.
You could just dodge. You could cut down bullets. I haven't watched I haven't watched the trailer. I only did it on accident. I was never able to
Why would you
willingly
waste the time?
Yeah. But So yeah, like you said, Adam, most games do have a kind of, once you boil it down to the game loop, it's not that great. But I think what really matters more is how satisfying are the core gameplay. And that's something that in the game dev community, there's two terms for it, is the juice and game feel.
Nice.
I don't know why the juice came from, but it's like how much juice it got.
It's a fruit.
Yeah.
Right? So there's a pulp.
Yeah,
juice
you can
in the
squeeze
It's
it.
a reference to OJ.
Yeah. But
Which
yeah,
is
it's game
technically
feel,
reference.
which is like how satisfying is just the basic movement and combat, like with everything stripped away, like what you have to do in the game, objectives and everything. Just moving around and doing what you do in the game, how satisfying it. Like Mario 64, the developer said that they spent like 2 or 3 months just programming the jumping around before they started anything else in the game development, because they wanted to get that down and make sure that it was fun to move around before anything else. So that's what I think of when I think of Ghostrunner, is that you have the dash, you have the wall run and the grappling hook, and those are just so fun to do. I've also been playing Hollow Knight recently, and once I unlocked the dash and the wall jump, because like in the beginning you just kind of run around and jump and you can't really do anything, but once I unlocked those two and I was just bouncing around and dashing and stuff, I was like, oh yeah, I remember why I freaking love this game. So it was once I hit that point and like my mobility reached like another tier that I was like, this game is so wonderful and so great.
It's like at this point though, after playing games for 30 plus years, it's like you see that pattern, you see that rhythm, and the best games. It's funny, like when the last Star Wars game came out, the Jedi Fallen Order, and when they were saying like, it's like a Metrovania and you unlock powers, you're just explaining a video game. But instead of just saying we'll just give people the bare minimum, it's like, no, they actually put work into it and they made something that people wanted to play. It's just like, it wasn't revolutionary. It was just like, this is what it looks like when you give a shit, or you have enough of a vision of a game that you can design an actual video game around it. So with that said, Ghostrunner will be my game of the year. You can't change my mind. Okay. That's it.
If it comes out this year.
Yeah. Oh, fingers crossed. I applied for the beta. I don't, I took a screenshot of it. I sent it to you guys where they said, what makes you interested most in this opportunity? My reply was, game looks dope, yo. So maybe, I don't know if those, I assume European developers are going to look at that and go like, we do not have a sense of humor. We don't get.
Who is Yo? Yo, get in here.
Do you know this man? No, I've never heard of him. You're fired.
For you.
You leak the game. I slap you. And that's how they deal with things. They slap each other. I love your
any other last it's interesting because like they showed there's Tell Me Why was like at Gamescom, but Elise already finished the first episode. I do like that we live in that age of things where things can be shown off at Gamescom.
Do you want to see me wink?
Yeah, we see you winking.
I was cropped out. Let me.
Elise is trying to get in the shot there. Yeah, she's winking.
I was really.
She jumped on that real quick.
Cool for the audio listeners. I did a turn.
We'll add a squish.
Winked.
I've speaking of Elise, I've been using Sherlock release games of knowing what time of year it is. So that's been good. I know it's been 6 months because they announced a new Sherlock. So they just pumped those out. Coming. Yeah. It's a prequel. We'll play it.
He's a baby now.
Someone took my diaper. It was Moriarty.
One other honorable mention I have. We were talking about game feel. Midnight Fight Express.
That's awesome.
It's all it is just a game where you punch people. But
love it.
The core, just the basic gameplay and fighting and stuff just looks so satisfying that I think
it looks like Crossy Road. It has like a Crossy Road style to it, that isometric, top down kind of weird look, but it's just a bunch of weird, almost like Hotline Miami characters beating each other up.
Yeah.
It looks awesome. Yeah. Good pick, John. You win.
It makes me think of a Jackie Chan game or something, because you can pick up a chair and use it pick up a stool or a ladder.
Yeah, you were saying this was just like a proof of concept or something. The guy was working on,
in another game that I saw in like the game dev subreddits where for the first I can't remember how long, it felt like a year. All he was doing was posting his characters fighting in like just a gray grid floor, like no environment, no anything, just him with his characters jumping around, slapping each other and grabbing each other and punching and stuff. And it just got cooler and cooler and cooler, just how it looked, that basic gameplay looked. And then, yeah, fast forward to now, it looks like, you know, he's tied it into some sort of story.
Yeah.
But
remember Overgrowth? Do you remember that game? The rabbit fighting game that the guy would release like combat videos of every couple weeks, and then he'd be like, and we added this feature and this feature, and eventually people were like, are you going to release a game or what? I guess it came out 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I never actually played
Congratulations.
it. I backed it. I mean, I bought
furry
it.
community.
Yeah, I mean, you're just you're like this, half bunny, half man thing with it's got weird physics and stuff. I completely forgot about the game, but the way you were explaining it, I was like, what happened to that? Just remember every couple months there was a dev video. And he's like, we've integrated these cool features and this and this. And it's like, where's the game? But now I look at it, it's just furries fighting each other. So
I searched for Overgrowth, and a related game, like Google related game, came up called Them's Fightin' Herds. Like Them's Fightin' Words.
No, I got it. Yeah.
Them's Fightin' Herds.
It's clever.
And it appears to be a fighting game with horses, deers. I don't know what the class is for lambs.
And the development company is called Mane 6 MANE, like a horse's mane.
Yeah.
They're all in.
But the fighting mechanics look pretty good, and maybe we should play it.
Sure.
And also, I guess there's some sort of RPG element. Maybe that's the game lobby or whatever.
It looks like My Little Pony.
Pretty good. It looks like My Little Pony. It's definitely that style. But yeah, there's like a whole ranch that you can walk around in like RPG sprite style.
This was at Gamescom.
Story mode. No, this is out. It came out in April.
Scrolling through the comments, every third profile picture is a furry. So
yeah,
you don't know that it's a furry.
Well, it's a picture of an animal wearing
who
sunglasses, flexing.
That's not a furry necessarily.
Sometimes
I'm seeing the furries now. Yeah, those are furries.
We always talk about
Flutter
this.
Vibes, yeah, that's furries.
Well, it's always
Sparkle
the
Star.
what came first, the game, the movie name or the movie idea, and that's one of those things where they're like, I have a great idea for a game. I'm like, what is it? And they just have the name, and they go, the rest will work. Don't worry, I'll just figure it out.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna play it after this, so stay tuned for that. Little Nightmares 2. I wanted to shout out. I'm excited for that. I don't know. There's just so much. They dump so much, and then there's games that are cut. Like we said, Tell Me Why. Avengers comes out this week. Are we gonna play Avengers?
Man, good luck, right? I heard it's a busted mess.
I heard Alana tried to play it and it melted her computer.
Yeah.
It's like her computer, she literally had to stop playing because her computer was making crazy noises while she was trying to run it.
Ant-Man is in there.
Yeah, and then the She-Hulk I think shows up something. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I think we should play it just because it's Avengers, but I
think it's going to be my game. It's going to be my next game. Yep,
no,
that's what I'm doing it.
I have such low hopes. Everything I've heard is just like it's not optimized. And what's the rush? There's no Avengers movie coming out. There's no Black Widow movie coming out. It's like we got to get it out for Mulan. What sense does that make?
It's a different universe. Okay,
I know, but they're still banking on people not knowing that. Like they put it.
It's my new game, Adam. It's my new game.
I don't
I'm telling you.
Believe you.
Wait, are you saying that they're trying to do an Asylum Pictures
with their own property?
Yeah, with their own property.
They have it on. I've seen it on billboards around town where they're angled in such a way that if you're driving and you kind of look, you think you saw Chris Evans, but you're not really. It's like, oh, Avenger. Like they're making it look like a movie poster.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this is for the person who buys
starring
Madden.
Hobart,
Yeah.
starring Hobart Downer Sr. So when you're driving by at 60 miles an hour, you just look real quick, you think it says,
Oh,
Robert Downey
like,
Jr.
Scarlett Johansson. Like, do you mean Johansson? No. This
Well,
is
that's the same name, so I don't know that that's...
yeah, but no, it has the umlauts. It's way different.
I see. I was going to see if we had time to talk about Neuralink, but I don't know that we do have time to talk about Neuralink and the poor pig that has had wires strapped to its brain for the last 2 months or 2 years or something like that, just so they can see dots on a screen when the piggy sniffs. We do have time for one more segment, but we're going to do that right after this ad read. This episode of Dude Soup is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. If you haven't heard that Dollar Shave Club has great razors, let me be the first to welcome you to the club. Stop buying expensive razors out of habit and start thinking about joining Dollar Shave Club today. I can tell you for one, I've been a Dollar Shave Club member for a very long time, and I promise you, there is not a dull razor in this household. That's a promise. Right now, you can try out Dollar Shave Club's Ultimate Shave Starter Set for a one-time trial offer for only $5 plus free shipping. After that, you can continue to get an unimaginably smooth shave as razor refills ship at regular prices right to your door as often as you want. So what's in the Dollar Shave Club Ultimate Shave Starter Set? Let me explain it to you. Right now, you're gonna get a 6-blade razor with a trimming edge, 2 refill cartridges, 1 ounce tubes of prep scrub, shave butter, and post-shave dew. Okay, let me just tell you, people don't understand how complex shaving can be. And in fact, sometimes they look to people with beards for information on it. Let me tell you, as someone who often doesn't have a beard and generally has no facial hair at all, except when I'm being really lazy, that shave butter is key, okay? The shave butter from Dollar Shave Club is a gentle, translucent shave aid that softens whiskers, helps fight razor bumps, and leaves your skin feeling unimaginably smooth. It's terrifying to whiskers to see this butter coming on. Let me tell you that, okay? Because they know that they're donezo. And they know that you're going to be smooth, and you're going to think, why did I ever have whiskers in the first place? So, ditch your overpriced razor and join the club today with Dollar Shave Club's Ultimate Shave Starter Set for only $5. It has everything you need for an amazing shave. That's a 6-blade razor, shave butter, prep scrub, post-shave dew, all shipped right to wherever you call home nowadays. After that first box, razor refills ship at regular prices on the schedule you want. Try the Ultimate Shave Starter Set today for just $5 plus free shipping at dollarshaveclub.com/dude. That's dollarshaveclub.com/DUDE. Welcome to the club. And we're back. Nick, it's time for our final segment.
God damn it.
Nice.
Oh boy. Yes. So welcome back to another episode of Mount Up for Morbius. I haven't done it yet, but I think I might. This episode of Mount Up for Morbius is also an episode of Getting to Know Leto, which is the sub-show that exists within the show Mount Up for Morbius, where our news is not focused necessarily on Morbius, the character, but is more focused on Jared Leto, the actor who will be, the actor and auteur and supreme talent who will be portraying Morbius in the film, Michael Morbius in the film. And, we only get to cover this when I host, so the news is not always breaking. It's not hot off the presses, so you guys may have heard about this, but Jared Leto is going to be our new Tron.
What?
He's our new Tron.
Tron's
Tron's coming back. Tron's coming back. Tron,
Sure.
the movie. We're getting Tron 3. Tron's coming back, and Jared Leto is our new Tron.
He's playing a
I don't know if you
computer.
guys had heard about. He's going to be a new Tron. They said, Bridges, you're out. Tron, you're in. Jared Leto's going to be new Tron. And so, but what I didn't realize is I was gathering as much more information as I could to make sure this is an informational getting to know Leto session. I didn't realize that when Leto announced that he was going to be in Tron, he made an Instagram post that said, "I'm so very excited and proud to confirm that, yes, I will be starring in Tron Ares."
Oh, they have a
which
subtitle
no one
for
knew
it.
the name was Tron
Oops.
Ares. So he deleted the Instagram shortly thereafter. But if I had my druthers, I'd say that it's almost certain Jared Leto will be starring in Tron Ares, which is the currently untitled Tron film that's in production.
So is that a sign? Because new Tron was that, or the last one, Tron Legacy it was all clean and nice. And since Jared Leto's kind of a greasy bad boy, does that mean like instead of Daft Punk, who is, known for their like kind of clean aesthetic, you get someone grimy like Carpenter Brute or
Grimes?
something?
Oh.
Yeah. No, Grimes is she got picked up by Cyberpunk. She's stuck with them, and then I think Lady Gaga will do something with Bayonetta one day. But a Carpenter Brute and Tron, I think I've seen that idea floated around. I could be into that, like like do a Fury Road style Tron movie. I don't know if you need the Flynn story anymore, right?
Well, it's like imagine if we got to the point where Tron was able to pull itself away from the Flynn story in less films than it took Star Wars to get away from Skywalker.
Good luck.
What?
Just go to a different computer, right?
I guess,
Yeah.
but this is they keep making sequels to movies that don't do well because there's
How
no
dare
other.
you.
Well, there's no other IP. No, I'm a Tron Legacy apologist. I love that movie. I rewatch it every once in a while. I'm actually I was happy it got made. I was so happy.
I think
for that
what we're
movie.
seeing are studios changing their tune on what well is because of the IP issue. Because they so desperately don't want to have to come up with a new idea. They'd rather bank on something people already know, that when Tron Legacy comes out and it only makes $400 million, I don't know how much it made, but I imagine it was probably a fair amount, and it's deemed a failure because it didn't make $1 billion. Now we're going back around and they're going, well, $400 million ain't bad. Let's do more of those Trons.
Well, they go. It's got
Wow.
a roller coaster. It's got it's streaming well on Disney Plus. People apparently like it. Idiots, I know, but we did set up this Sark story, Son of Sark storyline with what's his name, Scarecrow. He's in it. No one
Cillian
remembers.
Murphy.
Yeah, Killian.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's there for
Sorry,
half.
Sorry, Killian.
I don't know. I'm like there's enough there that I'm sure. Yeah, when they go to their book, they go, well, we got this original idea where a girl befriends a dinosaur, but Tron, it's made, it's done. I don't know. Like, let's just. Yeah, Jared Leto goes in a computer. They type it into the Excel spreadsheet, and it spits out $600 million with like we can write it off as a loss.
Yeah, we'll make let's make one of those things. Put them in the McDonald's. Get one of these flying around,
It's called an Energizer or something, a replicator.
You don't even know. What were you gonna say, John?
Oh, that you were right on the money. Tron Legacy worldwide profits was $400 million in 62,000. So
That's so much money,
yeah,
and it's still probably considered a failure.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is. The story goes like some Disney executive went to Shanghai and went on the Tron ride and went, maybe we talk about doing another movie. It's like, because of a roller coaster? What the? Come on.
Fun. Yeah.
I'm into it. I
Plus
want more.
Jared's in. Plus Jared said he's down.
That's
And he
the
played
one-
kind of a Tron in the Blade Runner thing that also didn't make a ton of money, but was still hugely successful.
I loved it.
What's going on?
I love that. I love we're
I
getting
think
it. I love that where they're like, Dune was a commercial flop. Let's make it again. All right, cool. Keep
People
trying.
know it.
Yeah, it's
People
fine
know
with
it. You
me.
go into an Amazon bookstore, you're gonna see that Dune book there. No one buys it, but you're gonna see it.
Yeah. It's hugely popular with the kids.
you know what they should do
Oh well. Well, go ahead.
But
is they should recreate someone, maybe that guy from that 70s show. You know who I'm talking about? He recut
yeah,
Star Wars.
the dad from
yeah.
RoboCop.
Yeah, the dad, Red. Because Jodorowsky, is that how you say his name? However you say his name.
That's fine.
Dune,
That's fine.
he had that like shot Bible that was basically the whole entire film storyboarded out. And all that basically got spread around Hollywood, and all of those visuals were used in films for the next 20 years. Like there's a bunch of shots in Star Wars and other
Yeah,
like
all
all
the
this Fifth
Ridley Scott
Element.
movies.
Yeah, all these
'cause they
movies
had
where they use those
Geiger
shots
did a
like
bunch of it, right?
exactly. Someone should make a huge cut that is the movie, but using
find the
all
shot.
of the shots.
Mm-hmm.
Idea. Topher Grace,
great
get
idea.
in here.
Topher, we're calling you, Topher.
I remembered your name
Well,
finally.
That's him. He played Red.
I don't listen. I don't know what Topher. I don't know if Topher has time for it, but I know that Jared won't have time for it because he's going to be busy filming Tron Ares. I mean, I don't know.
Delete this episode.
Get rid of it.
Oh God.
Yeah, he lives in a dream world, and I envy it every single time he pops his head out like the groundhog and goes like, they go, "What do you think, Jared? Is it going to be 6 more weeks of winter?" And he goes, "What is winter really?" And everyone goes, "Ugh," and then moves on with their life.
And then the kid from Big Daddy calls him out on Twitter. But that's
Yeah.
for another time.
With Morbius delayed for over a year, this is what we get. People finding the work however they can, including me. Roll that outro, which is the same as the intro.
What a great. Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's never over. What do you? It looks like he grabs a heart. It looks like he snatches a heart.
Sure.
When he does this, it looks like he rips a heart out of someone's chest.
I'm sure it's important to the plot.
We're gonna live in a world where Michael Keaton is not only in the Marvel universe as Vulture / Morbius
Well,
guy.
yeah. I think he is Vulture
but-
and Morbius.
Yeah, he's Vulture and Morbius, but he's also going to be Batman in Flash. Mm-hmm. What a world. What a
And
time to be alive.
Beetlejuice.
You know, you
And-
can say as much you want to about 2020 stinking, and I would agree, but you're going to we're at some point, we're going to get out of this, and we have Michael Keaton in both the DCEU and the MCU / Sony U at the same time.
Yeah. And whatever Pacific Heights universe took place in.
Well, that's our show. That's our show. A couple quick shout outs. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you to our first members for supporting us. And to everyone watching in RTTV chat. If you ever want to come and join the chat, just make a account. Simple as that. And then you can chat down there. I also want to shout out our Friday stream block. Funhaus used to have a couple streams cherry-picked here and there along the week, but now we have consolidated all of that creative effort into a Friday fun day, whatever you want to call it, stream block. It's 3 hours of games. John had fun MC stuff going on. We were just hanging out and talking to chat a couple weeks ago. We're really actually putting a lot of effort into figuring out creative ways to do live streaming content. And also some of it is going to be us recording our usual content as well. So you kind of get a behind the scenes look, but through the lens of it's supposed to be very fun. Like if you go to watch a game show get taped, it's still going to be a good game show. But you also get to clap and maybe they'll pick your number and you're going to be in the show. You probably won't be in a Funhouse.
It's like when Drew Carey says all that racist stuff, they cut it out, but you might catch it live.
I think Drew Carey is by all accounts a pretty nice guy.
Oh yeah, I know, but it's like Tourette's on set. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might be thinking of someone else. Maybe
I
Ellen.
think you are.
Colin Mockery.
That's the
Colin
one.
Mockery is a big racist for sure. I also want to shout out the Funhouse Wave Radio collection. I'm wearing one of them right now. I actually really like this shirt's really nice, but we got a whole bunch that kind of fit that summer, closing out the summer vibe. There's a hoodie, which some people have informed me is in fact a drug rug. Is the term for it, because it is often seen worn by people who are under the influence of drugs. If that's something you're into,
Nice.
it'd probably be a pretty good hoodie for you. But there's a lot of cool stuff. There's like some tie-dye stuff in there as well. And then the last bit of business before we go is RTX at Home is just around the corner. Couldn't do the big convention this year, but Rooster Teeth and the events team have been busting their butt trying to figure out a way to kind of give a similar experience to people while still social distancing and remaining at home. So I would recommend definitely checking out, looking up RTX at Home and seeing how you can be a part of that if that's something you're into.
Yeah.
And from myself Adam, and John, who's been slouching further and further down into his chair every time it cuts away from him on camera. I want to say thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and we'll see you on the next Dude Soup.
See ya!